Hello, it is July 29th and it is 9:40 p.m. Basically, right now, I need to make a video about my brain savant and how this obsession with my brain savant has actually started with law enforcement, and the proof and evidence where it has nothing to do with their investigation, quote unquote, has nothing to do with anything else except for my brain savant, basically. So, basically, the first thing I need to talk about is the sequence of events that occurred in Russia in November 2025 last year. The main reason is this sequence of event is basically what followed in the course of the entire investigation right after they found out about my brain savant. So just like how on November 14th they did a test, they would do a test in sometime really early at some point with the brain scanner, and they would find out about my brain savant. Just like how they try to frame me for false testimony on November 20th, only 6 days later, they try to make a false testimony against me right after August 25th, 2023, due to the fact that I won my case and they had to do something, fabricate something against me, or else they would have to let my brain savant go free. Something that they could not let be seen out in the open, literally locked up. So basically in April 2023, when I would go to Walmart to try to, I'd be paying for my things. A really nice woman would come up and try to pay for my things for me. And so law enforcement did not like seeing this. They did not release the results for August 9th, 2022, a 6-hour long brain savant test that they did not want to release the results for. It was unarguable, and they knew this for a fact. When they did in April 2023, what it ended up happening was there were like all these really nice women that would come and try to pay for my things at Walmarts and stuff. And so what ended up happening was law enforcement became extremely envious. They started bludgeoning my head with energy weapons and to try to damage my brain savant. I was forced to go to Saudi Arabia after my Indian visa was taking way too long. So basically, that is what happened. Now, when I came back from Saudi Arabia, what ended up happening was they fabricated a false testimony against me right after August 25th, 2023, to basically literally murder me with a false testimony, make me look like a bad guy. And then they were caught with that false testimony. And then afterwards, obviously, it was found out that they were doing everything due to my brain savant to find an excuse to literally murder me or cause so much mental torture, which they were doing the entire time from July 1st, 2023, till they were caught right after December 2023. They were caught since they were confessing to each other amongst law enforcement. They did not know that there was someone listening in from amongst them. They confessed to each other. So basically, that entire time between when the brain savant test results for 6 hours were out in the open for the public to from July 1st, 2023, and everyone knew about it, till about December 2023, they basically used severe mental torture on me to try to either get me to commit suicide, basically to try to get me to commit suicide, and to make sure that I couldn't talk and tell everyone that this wedding crime that they wanted to accuse me of, I had nothing to do with. Two things that they were trying to do, basically only to enviously lock up my brain savant till they could fabricate a false testimony against me, and then basically literally murder me after the false testimony. What ended up happening was someone informed the president and everyone in government higher up that they were doing all of this out of their obsession with my brain savant and due to their sex addiction and their extreme envy against my brain savant, basically. And that the entire year of 2023, when they were about to go and fabricate this false testimony against me, they were running their money fraud with their BFFs, and they provided Uncle Joey with such a protocol in November 2023 at the funeral that it would literally make a sitting governor envious. If Uncle Joey calls law enforcement and says he wants to know what his neighbors look like in his neighborhood, I can guarantee law enforcement will tell him. If a sitting governor asks law enforcement what their neighbors look like, law enforcement would ask, "Sir, why are you asking us this? What's the legitimate reason behind this?" This is the difference, and the corruption is so high that literally there's no point of anyone running for office or doing anything legitimate of that sort, only due to the fact that law enforcement's been running sex schemes with Uncle Joey's in-laws since the year 2001. They never fulfill their promise to their country. They criticize me and this and that. My mother made a promise to law enforcement when I was an 11-year-old child. She fulfilled the moment I became even slightly mentally mature, never for me to ever be seen in a setting where anything remotely considered bad could have been said around me ever again for decades. It has nothing to do with us being tipped off, since if we were tipped off, then we would have been tipping off, and you know how a guilty person conscience is. it was law enforcement that was tipping everyone off, not us. So basically, yeah, and that is what happened. We know this for a fact. They were tipping everyone off just by looking at how stubbornly they were running their sex schemes and money fraud, which only stopped like about 2 months ago. So basically, what I'm going to start off with is talk about the entire time interval in November 2025 last year in Russia, and how it represents the actual time interval for the entire investigation. Basically, they did a brain savant test, or the brain scanner told them when they found out, then they needed a legitimate excuse to try to literally murder me and or try to cause so much mental torture that I would commit suicide, and to stop me from being able to talk and say that this fabricated false testimony I have nothing to do with, and this crime I never committed. Basically using that much mental torture on me so that I could not even talk. And basically, yeah, and then they would fabricate a false testimony against me. After the false testimony, obviously they would get caught because they would confess, like how they did for November, like for the wedding crime in 2023, late 2023, or how they confessed for November 20th, 2025, with my dad, the framer, greedy framer's sister, actually confessing to the government informant. But you have to also remember the fact that before I even went to Russia in early November 2025, law enforcement basically knew about this false testimony that they were going to fabricate against me in November 20th, 2025. We know this for a fact because before I went to Russia, I let law enforcement know about the wedding crime. And their false testimonies that they made against me from before, that I knew about, so that I wouldn't come back and they would be like, oh, Russia told him or something crazy like that, when in fact that wasn't true. I knew about it from before. So as soon as I told them right before I left for Russia in early November 2025, law enforcement basically, what ended up happening was they freaked out and they panicked. They put "Don't You Worry Child" by Swedish House Mafia on my YouTube, with the guy who's enviously, angrily looking up like, oh my God, and can't believe he actually knows about our false testimonies from the past. So basically, yeah, that is what happened. Now, the thing about it is, the reason I had to go to Russia, obviously in November 2025, was due to the fact that law enforcement were so envious of my brain savant that they would literally argue that it doesn't even exist, which I thought was a joke. And October 2025, I basically I just knew that they were losing their case. Obviously, I never did anything bad, and the entire year, and they were getting yelled at in court. They were running their sex schemes and money fraud. They were getting other people to narrate. The other people had their own illegitimate motives. Like right now, Farah the Greedy Framer is literally begging me to marry any of her daughters, despite the fact that she's also claiming in court that I'm a bad person whose brain savant should get locked up, and she's literally begging me to marry any of her daughters that I would accept, even the one that's supposed to be getting married in December right now, through law enforcement. So you can ask law enforcement about that. My dad, the Greedy Framer, has asked me every single time he gets caught lying. February 10th, February 11th, he asked me at 3:17 a.m. if I was willing to commit incest with his own sisters, in exchange for illegal assurance of money that he asked for starting February 17th, 3:02 a.m. The moment he gets told that brain savant getting freed is inevitable, he makes up a list of things, basically 8.9 million euros and things of that sort of nature, and says, I want these things. We also know that was definitely incest that he was wanting the illegal assurance of money for, since he would send a porn star's picture named Sunny Leon on February 11th at 3:17 a.m. He's told that this is an open advertisement for incest, illegal in the U.S., and he's still sending it. On March 7, 2026, 3 times. And then on March 10, he's sending sexually explicit pictures of his other sister, offering a woman resembling her, on March 10, and every single day afterwards, while he's sending me, blackmail price tags for millions of euros. Mainly his two favorite ones were 8.9 million euros, and I think there was one for 25 million euros, that he would continuously send me over and over and over and over again, like how his sisters kept sending me after February 21st, $65 million that they sent me 8 times, basically. Yeah, 8 times to after February 21st to try to get me to give them illegal assurances of this money. Obviously, these people have invalid motives. They found out about my brain savant, and that's why they wanted it locked up, because they knew they didn't deserve a single penny of that money that artificial intelligence basically predicted I would make if my brain savant was freed, making it literally the most rare and profitable in the world. Due to which law enforcement did not want it freed at any cost. They saw how people were reacting in basically April 2023, and they did not like it at all. They saw a woman trying to pay for my groceries at Walmart and things of that sort of nature. They did not like it at all. So law enforcement basically just wanted me murdered with a false testimony. Now, the thing about it is the sequence of events that took place in Russia is basically how the entire course of the investigation took place. So basically what happened was in October 2025, I was just sitting in my living room and brainstorming, and basically I was like, I'm going to buy a Caesar machine, CZUR, I'm going to buy textbooks, and then I'm going to convert it to PDF format, and then I'm going to send the textbooks back and just use the PDF in format textbooks on my tablet to study from that and memorize textbooks on my free time, which I'm really good at doing with my powers, obviously. It's literally thousands of times better than normal human beings can ever imagine. I could do a textbook of something like Ardenbahl's medicinal chemistry in less than a day's time. It's all been tested and proven through artificial intelligence in multiple tests, including one that was done for 6 hours on August 9, 2022, which is why all these people are enviously trying to get my brain savant locked up, while at the same time trying to get me to marry their daughters. Now, my dad, the greedy framer, sometimes he claims that he doesn't think that my brain savant exists or it has monetary potential, when in fact, the fact of the matter is every single time he gets caught lying, he frantically calls me over and over again, texting me my baby name over and over again, letting me know that he's just been caught lying. He's scared that my brain savant's going to get freed due to no one else fabricating, and my mother's going to get the money and he's not. Basically, the last time this happened was May 2nd, 2026 at 12:48 p.m. As soon as he gets caught lying, he goes into a frantic maniac position. He starts to panic, starts to call frantically, starts to text me my baby name, and starts to say, oh, can you please pick up? Basically, even though he knows that we've been fighting in court every single day, only because he wants to ask for forgiveness, basically ask for illegal assurances of money because he's scared that my brain savant's going to get freed. That money he knows he doesn't deserve, he's going to beg for it, basically. We know this for a fact since he sent me illegal blackmail price tag for millions of euros, and he sent it that exact moment on February 17 at 3:02 a.m. And before that moment, he never let the courts know that he had any thought of money, and that he would act like he'd be like, no money, I don't think there's any money. And February 17 at 3:02 a.m. he's told by a government informant that his brain savant getting freed is inevitable. He first says, let me make some videos for the government, and the government informant says, no, that's not going to happen. No one's going to watch these videos. So he says, all right, fine, here's my list of things. And he basically gives away a list of things that he actually wanted, which was like millions of euros that he wanted from me, that he finally gives the list of. Now, he's already given the list February 17th. Now he is in jeopardy due to the fact that he's already been caught lying numerous times, and now he's given away his motive on February 17th, 3:02 a.m. So now he's extremely angry due to the fact that as soon as I see the list, I immediately tell law enforcement, no, and no. You need to tell him back. I know he got caught lying, and the set of lies that he was making early January 2026 was already confessed to the government informant before November 20th, 2025, which is why he's asking me for illegal assurances of money before my brain savant would get freed, because he knows that there's no guarantee that after my brain savant gets freed, I'd give a single penny of it. The only reason he's desperately asking for this illegal assurance of money is because it's the only option he has left. He was caught fabricating November 20th. That created mass panic and chaos throughout the entire news media. No one was able to smile on live TV. And then early January, he was given another chance by the courts, and he was caught lying one more time. Over and over again. He would make numerous lies that were all planned out, that his framer sisters told the government informant before November 20th, that these are planned lies that we have planned out against Hassan, so make sure that his brain savant gets enviously locked up, so no one gets the money we don't get. So basically, he was caught for the second time, and I told law enforcement right away, I know what the story is. He's been caught for the second time. Obviously, his framer sister got a free mechanic from the government that showed up at their house, and he was just like, "I'm here to fix all the problems in your car, as in I'm here to help you fabricate all the lies that you want." He wasn't there to fabricate lies for them. He was a government informant there to find out what the lies were. So basically, they gave the government informant all their lies, not just November 20th, but the subsequent ones that they had planned out together with my dad, the greedy framer, for early January as well. And now that my dad was told on February 10th, 2026, that the courts were aware that these were lies that were planned out together with his framer sisters. He went into a frantic maniac position. He started to call me like a panic maniac in like frenzy. All throughout the night of February 11th, he's sending me porn stars pictures with his sister's name on it, out of fear that he wasn't able to enviously lock up my brain savant, and that money that artificial intelligence predicted for my brain savant would go to my mother. Basically, a lot of money, considering the fact that I could memorize textbooks as big and dry as Arnball's medicinal chemistry in less than a day's time that normal human beings cannot get past 3 days in a month time. Actually, I also have innovation as well. So like Rain Man, I have instantaneous photographic memory, but I also have innovation in focusing. Focusing basically means I could use it for hours and hours without needing a single second's break. And the other thing focusing means is it's basically robot-like. So basically what that means is I can crush all my desires and everything else. So basically, yeah. And it's just like Rain Man, Kim Peek Rain Man. The only difference is I'm not saying anything bad about him. Enormous amount of respect towards him, but I'm also a fully functioning member of society as well. And I also have instantaneous photographic memory, innovation, and focusing, all three. Yeah, so basically every 30 days I could get done something like a 5-hour energy drink or something really close to it every single 30 days, something that normal humans get done a lifetime. I could get done every 30 days, which makes it incredibly profitable. And if you don't believe me, just read the artificial intelligence report. It will also tell you that my brain savant powers increase over time. Basically, that's what they found out when they did the test again in mid-May 2023. They do not like doing the test for my brain savant. But they were forced to do it in mid-May 2023, mainly because I ran away to Saudi Arabia because they were trying to bludgeon my head and damage my brain savant. And it was raising a lot of human rights concerns, doing this to someone just because they have a brain savant. The secret was out. Everyone knew about it. So basically when they did it in mid-May 2023, they found out that from the August 9, 2022 test, the mid-May 2023 test showed that my brain savant powers basically increased over time, which obviously no one told me, but I know for a fact since it's my brain, so my brain savant, so I would know. And in mid-June 2023, basically 21 days after the mid-May 2023 test, they found that out, and they never let me stare into textbooks ever again, out of hatred, fear, and anger that my brain savant powers were increasing over time. Now, you got to remember, these are the same people in law enforcement that were putting up nooses on my YouTube video at one time. So what ended up happening was in summer of 2020, there was an incident where Bubba Wallace, who's a race car driver, had found a noose in his garage. Now that incident ended up being wrong, and the noose was not there basically, but it gave law enforcement an idea. We're gonna make nooses on his YouTube just to harass him. And so basically what they would do is they would draw nooses on my YouTube all day long as a sign to try to say we're going to lynch you, like as in we're going to murder you. And they didn't think that there were other people in law enforcement that would call on them. And this occurred around right after summer of 2020. Really bad idea. Because they left behind a lot of witnesses behind in law enforcement. Not a very smart thing to do. Except for this, they also did things like they would put up the crusades on my web pages all day and night long to basically say that they're going to murder me. A very racist thing that they would do, basically, yeah. So these people are not good people in law enforcement. And the people that they have basically narrating in the trial against me are people like my dad, the greedy framer, who knows very well that he doesn't deserve a single penny of the brain savant money that artificial intelligence has basically basically marked for my brain. My dad, the Greedy Framer, every single thing he said was a complete and total lie. Not one word was true in the least bit. He even got his kids to make false testimonies against me, and his kids got caught. My dad, the Greedy Framer, has the highest, biggest motive in the world to be locking up my brain savant. He literally begged and cried to his sisters, the Framer sisters, saying that they didn't help him enough to lock up my brain savant, as in they didn't lie enough, due to which it was about to get freed at one time, and then they got involved a lot more. They started lying and aggressively pushing it forward, their false testimonies, while at the same time, Fur, the Greedy Framer, was also trying to get me to marry her daughters, which she's still doing 70 times in the last month after June 16th. 70 times send me blackmail prenup marriage scamming requests in the last month since June 16th. So today I got sick and tired of it, because like 2 days ago I begged the courts. I was like, please, I get the point. She wants me to marry her daughter. I know, I get it. Please tell her to stop sending it to me. I get it. I said no. I don't want to marry her daughter. I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. And I was like, please tell her to stop. Tell her to stop sending me this. I'm not going to marry her daughter. And so today I got sick and tired of it. Like more than 70 in 1 month. It's just a little too much. Like I said no, lady. I said no. I said no, very strong no the very first time. So today I got sick and tired of it, and I started talking about her as well. Every single thing I knew about her, all her crazy stuff, every single thing that there is out there. And yeah, her brother doesn't even care. Her brother literally uses her as a source of incest. February 11th, 3:17 a.m. Then again, March 7th, 3 times. He thinks that she's some sort of a tool to try to get the illegal assurance of money. Her brother doesn't even care, because the person whom she made the exaggerated false testimony against in 2019 from the same law enforcement team who gets the money every month, her brother talks to him all day and night long. So he doesn't care. He just sees her as a kind of tool to try to get his illegal assurance of money himself. So yeah, basically, like I got sick and tired of it today. Like, lady, I understand that you want me to marry your daughter, or you want that prenup marriage agreement signed for your daughter, but I said no. But yeah, so basically, yeah, these people have the biggest motive against my brain savant, mainly due to the fact that they know that they don't deserve a single penny of that money that artificial intelligence marked, and they want to make sure that it enviously gets locked up. Mainly my dad, so that my mother cannot, my dad, the Greedy Framer, so that my mother cannot get any of the money, which artificial intelligence has marked as the most rare and the most profitable in the world right now. You got to remember, brain savants are extremely rare to be in the first place. Very few brain savants in the world right now, probably around 10 right now, out of which I have literally the most rare and profitable one right now, especially since it increases in power over time. You know for a fact, since August 9, 2022 and mid-May 2023 tests for a brain savant will easily tell you that my powers increased over time. Due to which, when the mid-May 2023 test came out in 21 days later, then law enforcement did not let me stare into textbooks anymore, thinking that it's going to increase my powers even more. Well, and November 14th, they found out that my powers increased nonetheless. After which they but after mid-June 2023, after they did the test, they found out my powers were increasing. They didn't let me stare into textbooks anymore, even though I'm autistic and I like doing that. Excuse me. So yeah, and like they even found out on January 20th, 2026 that my entire story about my brain savant evolving from me staring into a History Channel logo as a child, due to which they even called me History Channel in high school. You could ask people that I knew in high school, like Miss Anderson or whomever. They would tell you that they used to call me the History Channel in high school, because I did as a child. When I was a 9-year-old child, that's how my autistic brain savant started off. I would stare into a History Channel logo as a child all day, night long. I call it the time machine that they have. They use it to test it out on January 20th, 2026 by telling that machine to lock up my entire brain savant, except for the childhood part. and to try to test to see if what the story I said about my brain savant evolving from me staring into a History Channel logo was true or not. Obviously, they don't like the story for whatever reason, and they immediately said it's not true. Well, anyways, they tested it out and they found out I was telling the truth all along. So it did start off for me staring into a History Channel logo as a 9-year-old child, and I would stare into it from morning till night. They had the time machine tested out. So January 20th, 2026, you just have to look at the results from that test done. So basically, yeah, I just think it's really wrong to inhibit someone from being able to study because you're envious of them, especially just even if there's a trial going on or not. Letting me study using my brain savant powers, it has nothing to do with anything. Since I'm going to be studying something like medicinal chemistry, and what they were arguing in October 2025 about my brain savant not even existing would be true in the least bit, and I would be anything short of Rain Man, Kim Peek Rain Man, then they would win their trial in 30 minutes. Since my entire theory against them that this only started after they ran sex teams since 2001 with Uncle Joey's in-laws, money fraud, which was continuing till about 2 months ago, only because they found out about my brain savant. They became obsessed with me. My entire theory against them vanishes in 30 minutes. They win their trial in 30 minutes if I'm anything short of Kim Peek Rain Man. So I don't see why they're fighting to inhibit my brain savant from being able to be used, especially after all the envious arguments that they made against my brain savant. I just think it's extremely wrong to be inhibiting someone from being able to study, since this has not happened in American history since the slavery era. And all I'm asking for is to be able to study. I'm only going to study something like medicinal chemistry and things of that sort of nature. I haven't been allowed to study since mid-June 2023, only because they found out about my brain savant increasing in power over time, which is absolutely wrong. And the people that they have arguing against me have incredibly invalid motives and nothing else. They have incredibly invalid motives. If you look at someone like Ibrahim, the greedy farmer, the spokesperson, he just literally just tried to get me with his Ponzi scheme, asked me to sign a marriage contract with his sister on July 18th, a couple of days ago. Fred, the greedy farmer, has been trying to get me to marry 3 of her daughters and not 1 or 2. Okay. My dad, the greedy farmer, every time he gets caught lying, has already tried to get me to commit incest with his sisters in exchange for illegal assurances of money, which he claimed he had no clue about and he didn't believe in. Well, it turns out on February 17th at 3:02 a.m., when he's told that my brain savant's about to get freed, he gives law enforcement a list of things that he wants immediately, asking them to check to see what the chances of him getting the money were. And I told law enforcement right away, 0% chance. Well, my dad, the greedy farmer, after he's already given away his main motive as being money, after arguing and lying in court over and over again that he didn't even think there was any monetary potential, like how artificial intelligence labeled it, now he became extremely angry after February 17th. And he tells law enforcement, he's like, keep putting it on there. Keep putting my list on his YouTube all day, night long. And they put it 19 times for 8.9 million euros on the morning of February 19th alone. After which, I was watching TV. In one morning of February 19th, I saw it pop up on my TV 19 times through law enforcement asking me for illegal assurances of 8.9 million euros. I was like, February 19th, 19 times has a nice rhyme to it. I'm just going to keep it at that. And I turned off the TV and I went to sleep. I'm not giving anyone a single penny. He can ask as angrily and aggressively as he wants. He's not getting a penny out of me. So basically, yeah. Early April 2026, he went into court really aggressively, berating everyone, yelling at them, degrading them, harassing them, screaming in court, getting aggressive. You're twisting my words. Everything he could use, he used to try to push forward his lies very aggressively. He knew I wasn't going to give a single penny. And I'm not, I won't even give any fake assurances of any money. It's my money. I've been poor my entire life. When my brain savant gets freed, I'm not, it's me, my mother, that's it. I never took anything from anyone. Okay, I went through months without any food. Law enforcement is a witness to the fact that I used to tutor people in pharmacy school in exchange for food. I used to tutor pharmacology in exchange for food. And even then, it was one time I had to steal food from his house to let him know that I'm not going to tutor him anymore if he didn't share properly. So yeah, I'm not giving anyone any illegal assurances of money. I never took anything from anyone. I'm not giving anyone anything. everything. It's my money, my mother's money, not even any fake insurances. I told law enforcement that I know he got caught lying again, and his former sisters definitely confessed to government informant that they had more lies even after November 20th. I'm telling him I know, and tell him I'm not giving him any money because I'm not. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened. These people have incredible invalid motives. And the thing I had to ask the government is locking up someone's brain savant so they cannot study. It's never happened in American history. Even in the slavery era, it was like not that common. Like right now, it's just because there's a trial going on doesn't mean you can't like let me study. I mean, studying is a human right. Just because I have a brain savant doesn't mean I can't study. You know, it's just wrong to lock up someone's brain savant like that. And in October 2025, when they were arguing like, oh, scam artist, liar, this and that, blah, 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 I made a deal with them. I was like, hey, look, you know what? Just like in that movie, The King, King Henry makes a deal with the Prince of France and he tells him, you look like you've been running your mouth a lot. So I'll make you a deal. Okay, you've been claiming from day one that my brain savant, well, that everything you did, like sex schemes and money fraud, had nothing to do with the investigation, whatever their excuse was in court. They had to make some sort of excuse, and they even went as far as claiming that my brain savant didn't exist. So, yeah, they weren't going to do a challenge over here in the U.S. Obviously not. There would be Mythbusters at nighttime, putting it up on my home screen for my TV, and in morning time when my tablet's all charged and I'm ready to do the test, they're all gone. Pretending that they never even challenged me. Yeah, so I was like, I'll do the challenge in Moscow, Russia. You guys seem like you're really eager to do the challenge and disprove my brain savant. So you have 25 days. I'm gonna go to Moscow, Russia. If I'm Kim Peek Rain Man in 30 minutes, then I win the challenge. If I'm anything short of Kim Peek Rain Man, and at the end of the 30 minutes, basically in 25 minutes, if I can't utter out like the amount of pages that Kim Peek Rain Man could, I'm not excellent at it, superhuman by all means, then you win your challenge. If I'm anything short of Kim Peek Rain Man, you win your challenge. And basically, yeah, that was a deal that I made with them. And I went to Moscow, Russia, and I let them know if I'm anything short of superhuman at the end of that 30 minutes, you win your challenge and you win your trial as well. Because they're not letting me talk because you've proven that my theory against you does not even exist. But if I win my trial as well, because I've proven that since 2001, all you've done is run sex schemes with Uncle Joey's in-laws and then money fraud that were literally being run till like about 2 months ago. And so the only reason you are obsessed with me is due to finding out about my brain savant. So yeah, I win this 30-minute challenge, then I win this case. If you win it, then you win your case because you've proven that my entire theory against you doesn't exist, since I'm not superhuman like I claimed. Obviously, law enforcement could not reply to this challenge at that time, mainly because they have been running their mouths a lot. Scam artist, liar, this, that, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I showed up in Russia, and guess what? After they did the November 14 brain savant test, which was for less than a minute, artificial intelligence told them that I was Kim Peek Rain Man. I was gonna run them over up and down the hill if they did a 30-minute test with me. And so they never did do it. We know for a fact that's what the end result came for the 1-minute test on November 14th, because on December 10th, when the brain savant test results came out, they had a girl stalking me who hit the back of my car so hard I ended up in the emergency room. So yeah, basically that's what the results said. Artificial intelligence, they basically cheated. In the 1-minute test, artificial intelligence told them that in the 30-minute time period, I would run them over up and down the hill, and that I was Kim Peek Rain Man, just like how I claimed, and due to which they never did the test, and that's what the end result said at the end of the 21 days on December 10th, due to which, as soon as they saw the artificial intelligence report, they had a girl stalk me, told she hit the back of my car, and I ended up in the emergency room. But the thing that I had to say was, this has never happened in American history where someone is inhibited from being able to study just because they have a brain savant. You know, even in the slavery era, it wasn't that common, and it just never happened. And this is like my natural habitat. Before mid-June 2023, this is all I would do for 4 years. From October 2019 till mid-June 2023, this is all I did for 4 years, almost entirely. And yeah, and they just after that, only because of the fact that my powers increase over time, they never let me stare into a textbook anymore, which in my opinion is totally wrong. Just because I have a brain savant, it's just wrong, and obviously it's the main reason for why they've done everything against me. And so yeah, I'll give you the timeline on what happened in Russia. It basically represents the entire timeline for what they've done against me due to my brain savant. So I am in Russia on early November. I get there around November 10th. November 14th, about 3 days ago, 3 days later or so, they do a brain savant test. And then after they do a brain savant test on November 14th,